Hey, what's up everyone? Clifford Starks here. And I just want to start off with saying, for anyone who's been with me on my journey and anyone who's new to the journey, thanks for being here. Thank you for giving me your time and your attention. You could have been anywhere, but you decided to click under this video. And I hope you get some insights in this particular video, because what I want to talk about is leadership and the power that leadership really has. And as I've gone through my journey and learned the lessons that I've learned, it's so interesting how people see us versus how we see ourselves. You know, I never really saw myself as a leader. I didn't see it until people started telling me that I was a leader. And I thought I was just a guy trying to do the best that he could on his journey. And I still feel like I'm that guy, doing the best that he can on the journey that he's on and having a lot of fun with it. I always thought it was super important to live all out. You know, like just stretch yourself as much as you can, see how much you can grow, see who you can become on the journey, and just have a lot of fun through it. And I didn't realize as I started doing that, I started engulfing myself in leadership. I started doing research, I started reading up on it. I'm like, wow, a lot of what I speak on is leadership development. And it's cool. You know, it's really cool to be a part of that piece, to be called a leader when you're not calling yourself a leader, to stand up for others and not really realizing how much of an impact you're making on them. Until you step back and you really start seeing like, wow, their lives are transforming and you're a piece of it. And so I'm honored by it and I'm humbled, you know, as I go through my journey. And I'm going to mess up a lot. You know, I'm going to fall a lot. And I want to say that's what leaders do, is leaders just try. They do the best that they can. Now there's steps that leaders have to take to get to where they're looking to go. And so I want to go over those steps. And I know I took about 3 minutes to talk about going over those steps, but that's what I do. You know, that's who I am. I say what's on my mind, and I have a lot of fun when I say what's on my mind. And honestly, people tend to listen a little bit more when I say what's on my mind. We talk about being authentic, and to me, I'm just going to be as authentic as I can. I'm just going to enjoy the journey as much as I can. I'm going to give you value, as much value as I can through my process. And I just want to have some fun. You know, I want us to have fun together and rise together and learn about one another, because I want to learn about you just as much as you want to learn about me. And so if you do have a story, if you do have a message, comment below, because I'd like to know more about you. But anyway, going back to leadership. I was reading a book by Zig Ziglar. They're talking about some of the steps of leadership. And the first step is inspiration, being inspired into doing something. And when you're inspired, that feeling of passion and going after something, it's the greatest feeling you can have. And I know from my own personal journey, whenever I tried something new, I tried it because I wanted to try it. You know, I didn't let anybody tell me what was right versus what was wrong. I did it my way, and I had a lot of fun doing it my way. And so when I was inspired and I felt like diving in to a new skill set or a new ability, I went all in. I just had a lot of fun when I would dive into it. And doing that made the process so much faster. You know, oftentimes we try and do things for other people instead of doing what really drives us, what makes us feel good about ourselves. And as I've gone through coaching, you know, I know how important it is to know what a person truly wants. So I really dig into what is it that you want? What is it you want to accomplish? And why behind the why behind the why? You know, you just have to ask why several times until you really get into that deep foundation layer of, well, the reason I'm so inspired by this is because I had an abandonment issue from a father, and now I'm a father, and I gotta be better than that. And that's a peace of mind. That's actually a peace of mind. I will go into detail with that sometime. But yeah, I had an issue with my biological dad leaving and me saying I can stand up for people. Even when people who are supposed to be there drive away from your life. It's the way that it goes. But it inspires me. It gave me energy. And I didn't take that as, oh, the world sucks and it's not fair. I took it as I can be stronger. I can always grow and be stronger than who I was and where I came from. Be stronger from where I came from. So I'm not going to drive away from my kids, you know. Whatever works for you, whatever is going to inspire you and move you into your journey to be the greatest version of yourself. And again, we talk about the greatness within. That's what it's about. And the second piece is educate. Educate yourself. And I've done a lot of education through my journey. And when I talk about inspiration and then education, see, an inspired person is going to educate themselves. But a person just educating themselves just for the sake of educating, it's not the same. It's very bland. And so when you are inspired to do something on your journey, go educate yourself as much as you can in that process. A couple of things that I really educated myself on is my athletics. When I was going to ASU and I wanted to graduate in kinesiology, and my marriage. You know, I've been married for 13 years. It's going to be 14 in March. And I really, whenever I did something new, I dived into it as much as I could. So my marriage, I read as many relationships books as I could. And I actually listened to people who were in great relationships and people who weren't in such great relationships. It was all about mentorship to me. And mentorship to me means really seeing what to do, but also what not to do. So I look at mentorship as everybody's a mentor in one way, one form, or one fashion. They're either going to teach you what to do, or they're going to teach you what not to do. And I take in as much as that as I can and just absorb it. And it's really helped me on my journey to become what I am today. And the third piece they talk about is implementation. You know, you can be inspired, you can educate yourself, but if you're not putting in the reps, if you're not putting in the work, then nothing happens from there. And so it's all about getting that implementation. And so like I was just talking about being married for 13 years, I wasn't inspired to get married, and then I read about marriage, and then I never got married because it just wouldn't be fulfilled. So you have to implement what you're going after. And the more you implement it, the more you learn and the better you get at it. And it just solidifies that foundation even more. And then the next stage is it's who you are. You know, like it's so solidified, it's just who you are. It's what you stand for. It's what your values are. And the more you implement something, you literally do become that thing. And I'll tell you, when I went from being an overweight kid and losing the weight and becoming an athlete, I was no longer that overweight kid. I was something else. I was different. I was transformed. And so the way I ate, the way I carried myself, the things that I did were completely different. And it wasn't an overnight thing. But, well, let me take that back. It was overnight here. See, it can be overnight in the mind, but the external world might not see it right away. You can see it right away. The second you've placed it into your head, I am this new person, you will start implementing the habits and it will come together. But the external world might not see it right away. So defining who you are, you can define who you are today and say, I know what I can be. I know what I'm capable of, and I am going, and not only am I going to become this thing, I am this thing. Because the second I started saying, I am this thing, I started eating like I was that thing. I started exercising like I was that thing. I started caring for myself in the way that I needed to, like I was that thing. And so that's, well, my alarm just went up. Let me dismiss that. That's another important piece of who are you? So who are you going to be? Who are you going to be? It's not who are you going to become, who are you going to be today? It starts with a thought. Actions are secondary. When you know it, when you believe it, and when you feel it, and it's in you, it's in your bones and in your spirit, the actions will come and you will take the actions that you need to take. And then the fifth piece, like when you become that thing, when you embody it, was so interesting. And I didn't know how much it was going to really open up for me, but it's really going into a state of not only does it show up for you, it's a ripple effect for others. You know, it's almost like you want to share the gift that you've learned on your journey. So when you become this new thing, this transformed individual, you want to help other people become just as transformed because it feels so damn amazing. It feels great to be able to take your life and live your life fully and authentically and have a lot of fun on the journey. And it's not to say that you won't have downs or lefts or rights. You're going to have all of that. Life is a roller coaster. And that's the fun of it because we get to experience and we get to become stronger than what we were. We get an opportunity every time something good, bad, crazy, or indifferent happens. We get an opportunity to say, how am I going to take this experience in? And every time I took that experience in and said, how can I get stronger or better or have more fun or define this in the way that I need to define it in? How can I learn the lessons that I need to learn on my journey along the way? And I'm looking to always grow, always expand, always have fun, and always appreciate the people who took the time to listen to what I had to say, who took the time to really implement the things that I had to say and transform their lives for doing so. And so those are my leadership values on getting to where you need to go. Like I talked about, I read it on a Zig Ziglar book, but it's things that I've always implemented on my journey. You know, you don't fight in the UFC and not have those leadership qualities. Like in order to get to a place like that, you have to be inspired. Because if you're not inspired and you're just dull, you're going to get crushed. You have to educate yourself. You have to learn the lessons along the way and really, really dive deep into that education. Learn as much as you can. Really be passionate about it because you are so inspired. And you really have to take the time to implement it, put it in, because education will do nothing by itself. They always say, if education was all it took, everyone would have six packs and be millionaires. It's about really getting that implementation in and constantly putting that work in. And it's about being it. You know, it's who you are. It's what you stand for. You embody that. Every action you take, everything that you do, every time you wake up, you embody this new thing. And then there's the growth piece, you know, where you want other people to have that ripple effect, other people to feel that opportunity. The more people who feel the opportunity of being a winner in their life and a winner in their journey is a win for me. You know, I love to win on my journey and I want to help other people win on theirs too. That's what it's about because there's greatness in every single one of us and we all have special skill sets that really make us unique and different and special. And when you uncover that, it's the coolest thing ever. So again, I appreciate you all. You're all superstars. Thank you for everything. And yeah, let's keep moving forward and having fun on the journey.